We've got tips and recipes for healthy living. So for fun and inspiration, come and join us in the raw food world.
Welcome everybody, this is Matt Monarch with the Raw Food World TV show. And today is, what's today, baby? I never know the
Thursday,
day.
January the 7th.
Yes. We've got some very special guests with you. We are at the Tree of Life, and we've got Will Tuttle here. He's actually going to be speaking tonight here.
Right, okay, I'll show my little thing here.
Cool.
Talking about the World Peace Diet.
The World Peace Diet. That's a pretty popular book, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going well. Yeah, we're just in the 5th printing now.
Wow.
Madeline and I travel around the country in our RV and do lectures, veganizing America as best we can. It's
Cool.
a lot of other people.
And do music and art too.
Wow.
So it's
Right.
a 3-legged stool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys do how many talks a year about?
We've been doing between 150 and 200 events a year for the last 4 or 5 years since the book came out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What's it based off of? Is it mainly food, or it says world peace and stuff?
Yeah. It's the connection between food and culture and peace. Or the connection between food and violence and war. I guess depending on how you look at it.
Okay.
But the basic idea is that all of us have been born into a culture that has this underlying mentality that's injected into us as little kids through the food,
Wow.
which is a mentality of reductionism, commodification of life, exclusion, disconnectedness, and that mentality is actually the driving force of all of our dilemmas. And until we switch from eating foods of cruelty and death and exclusion to eating foods of kindness, compassion, and life, then we'll never be able to solve all of the sort of multi-headed hydra of problems that we have, the environmental problems, the problems with social injustice, the problems of inequality and war and disease and all these things. They come from this hidden fountain. It's like this well at the core of our culture that's completely taboo to talk about in our culture because people know in their bones they don't want to look there. That's really where we need to look. And so what I try to do in the book is show the big picture of our mistreatment of animals for food, how it affects us spiritually, psychologically, culturally, the whole history of it, the anthropology behind it. And the essential message is really positive, that if once we understand this and we move toward a whole foods, vegan, organic diet, that our whole culture will transform. Imagining our culture as a vegan culture is imagining an entirely different culture. And that this is really where we need to go as a culture now. I mean, this is the thing. Anything else is a distraction because all of our efforts towards peace and sustainability and justice and freedom and equality are merely ironic because we're saying basically that we want for ourselves, but we refuse to give to others, to billions of animals who we are routinely brutalizing every single day on this planet in our culture today. And so every spiritual tradition teaches the same thing, which is as you sow, so shall you reap. Whatever you put out will come back. Whatever you want most for yourself, give that to others. You know, so if we want peace, we want happiness, we want freedom, let these beings who we are confining have peace and freedom. Let them live their lives. And once we do that, we'll be able to live our lives. And so the enslavement really of humanity, which is happening, is because humans are eating food of slavery. You know, they're enslaving animals, so they will be slaves. If we want to be free, we have to free these beings, and then we can create a world of beauty. This is a beautiful world if we could just open our eyes and see it and live that way.
Yeah.
That's the basic message.
It's pretty crazy. People don't really want to seriously look at that sort of thing. So, are you on a predominantly raw diet, or what do you?
We always say like between 2/3 and 3/4 raw. We have breakfast and lunch, are raw, green smoothie and salad, and then we usually wrap, and then we have usually something more cooked for supper. That's our basic pattern.
Cool.
Through life right now.
And how did you get into this whole lifestyle and way of thinking?
Well, it was for me. It was back when I was only 21. I guess I left home. I graduated from college, and I wanted to go on a spiritual quest. It was back in 1975, and I I left New England, Concord, Massachusetts. I started heading to California with my brother, and we got as far as Buffalo, New York. And then we headed south, and we walked for a few months, and we finally ended up at a place called The Farm in Tennessee, which was at that time the largest hippie commune in the world, about 1,000 people, and they were vegans. Nobody used the word vegan because no one even heard of the word vegan in 1975, but they were just eating a totally plant-based diet. So I stopped eating meat right then. And then a few years later, I became a Zen monk in Korea, and I found myself in a community that had been vegan for 650 years. Wow. So I realized this isn't just some new hippie idea. This is an ancient wisdom tradition of people who really want to grow spiritually, acting with what is called ahimsa, which means nonviolence, to live in a nonviolent way. And so not to eat meat, not to wear leather, not to, use animals for entertainment, or just not to abuse other beings. This is the foundation of happiness and freedom and spiritual sensitivity and awareness. And so when I came back here, I just, I was a vegan. I felt like I had these vegan roots that went just deep into my being. So I've been a vegan for 30 years, and Madeline pretty much just as long.
Same month, same
year.
year.
We started in
Wow.
75,
like
actually.
thousands of miles away.
Right.
We just became, in November 75,
Yeah.
I
Wow.
went right to raw food.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a long time, and it just gets better and better. I mean, for sure.
Oh,
There's a lot to learn, but it's just amazing. I mean, in 35 years, we've never had a television. We've never been to the doctor. We've never had health insurance. I mean, we just have just the greatest life.
We're just happy.
We just I mean, it's an amazing freedom that people can have if they. And it's so funny when we talk about veganism to people and eating a plant-based diet. It's really healthy. They talk like, well, I'll try to work my way there. I'll try to get there. And to me, it's so funny. It's like saying, look, you're in a prison. The door's open. You can walk out and go. And it's like, well, let me work my way and try to get to the door here. And it's really a fantastic opportunity we all have to just make the change right now. And if we do that, it's not only blesses us, it blesses everyone. It blesses animals, future generations, starving people, the earth, the rivers, just birds, everybody, fish, all the beings celebrate, I think. All the angels, I mean, everybody's happy when someone decides to live their life as a statement of kindness and mercy and really health in the big picture. And we'll be healthy as we contribute to the healing of our world. That's really how it all, I think, essentially we all know that in our bones. But we have to kind of reduce our intelligence in this culture and pretend that I can somehow be happy by harming someone else, that I can use them, pay someone to stab animals all day. I mean, think of that. We have people, we have whole armies of our brothers and sisters who do nothing but stab and abuse animals so we can have a little piece of meat or cheese or something, and we think that we're going to be happy and healthy, and we see the roots of mental disease and physical disease and the pharmaceutical industry making huge profits on drugs for animals and drugs for people. It all goes together, and we have to understand that, and then it becomes quite easy, I think, to make those changes, which is neat. I think most people feel like if we're vegans and they're eating meat and dairy and so forth, that we're sort of against them, and that's not true at all. We're like on the same side, just to understand it's this culture, this 8,000-year culture of violence that's injected its mentality into them, and it's not in their interests. It's actually, they'll be much happier if they realize this and take that suffering out of their diets and heal, let their bodies heal, let their minds heal, their spirits heal. We're on the same side. That's the beauty of it. We're on the same side. We're not trying to change anyone. We're trying to help everyone just realize we don't have to live like this. We don't have to live in a culture of competition and violence and exclusion and domination and war and all that. We can create a totally different way of living. And it's time to do it. We have to do it now.
The time is now.
The time is now.
Do you have a website or anything where people could get in touch with you or sell your book? Or?
Yeah, the website is worldpeacediet.org or worldpeacediet.com.
And we got
Angela Sixmonic.
Thank you for coming on, and we've got
Will Tuttle.
Yeah.
Madeline Tuttle. Let's
And-
be happy.
And be happy. And this is Matt Monarch. We'll see you again tomorrow at the Raw Food World TV show.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at the Raw Food World.